Seeing you got ritualistic, cleansing my soul of addiction for now, cause I'm falling apart.
Today I'm going to share with you guys my experience going to the NABJ and NAHJ conference for the first time ever. Little background, I graduated college in 2020, the pandemic year, and I have my bachelor's in communication and media arts. So yeah, this was my first time going to the conference. It was amazing because it was a joint conference between the National Association of Black Journalists and National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Usually I think they have it separately, but this year it was a joint conference. It was in Las Vegas, so it was my first time in Vegas and my first time going to the conference in general, which was great. So let's begin. First of all, I overpacked because that's just the type of person that I am. I overpack for everything. I feel like I need everything, when in reality I didn't need half of the stuff that I packed. Good morning, you guys. So today is the day I fly to Vegas for the NABJ/NAHJ conference. And number one, I really don't like using the word Hispanic because I feel like that's a whitewashed way of like talking about Latinos, but whatever. I'm super excited. My flight departs at like 9:40 something, but I'm going to get picked up at 7 a.m. from my house. I'm going to Newark Airport, and I'm super excited. It's funny because in reality I'm a very social person. Like, I promise you I am. But when I am around people that are just like better than me, I kind of like, you know, I get super nervous.
Seeing you got ritualistic, cleansing my soul of addiction for now, cause I'm falling apart. Yeah, tension between us just like big fences. You got issues that I won't mention for now, cause we're falling apart.
I forgot to mention, the reason that I went was because my job sponsored the trip, right? Like, they were paying for me to go, but also I was working throughout the convention, right? I was helping out editorially in one of the panels, which was called The Culture is Inclusion, Infusing Diversity in News, which was amazing, right? I got to help out with creating questions, with just the production of that panel. And then I also was just helping the anchor that I work with at MSNBC. So I think because I went for work, I didn't really get the most out of it. Don't get me wrong, I did have fun, and I did, you know, get to go to a few like panels, but not really. Like, I usually just went to the panels that I was working with, or like I knew somebody that was a part of the panel, so then I went to that panel. If you are thinking about going, I think you should definitely make sure you go with somebody. Again, if you are the type of person that you thrive in environments by yourself, then girl, good for you. I am like a social person, but I feel like it's just awkward when you go to these events that has so many people, and usually the people already come with their group of friends. So like when you go to a panel, usually there's like a clique of people, and I'm just not the type of person to be like, oh my god, hey, my name is Shayla, and you know, like, to me, I just do not like that. So after I was done with like the panels that I was working with, I literally went back to my hotel room and just relaxed. First of all, because I was tired AF from all the walking And also just because it's like I'm not trying to go to these things by myself. Like I just didn't feel comfortable. So I arrived Wednesday, and the flight was great. First of all, United really tried to play you, because why did I have to pay for Wi-Fi? JetBlue would never. And the gag is I paid to have Wi-Fi on my United flight because I had to finish this article that I was writing up for NBC Latino, right? And the Wi-Fi worked for like 5 minutes and then stopped working. So I wasted my money. But then they gave me like this $25 like voucher for the next time that I fly with United. And it's like, baby, United was never like this. I feel like United was like a good airline, and now it's just like, I don't know what's happening with United. So I arrived Wednesday, got there, went to the hotel, immediately like changed. I have an insert. This was like the hotel room. I stayed at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. Very nice. Okay, you guys, so you come in and I'm here, and then this is the bathroom. Yes, look at how, first of all, I just want to emphasize this, or no, I want to let you guys know I'm here by myself, okay? Beautiful. And you are going to be using the toilet with a view, okay? But we haven't gotten to the best part yet. Let me turn off the light. Okay, hold on. This needs to do what it needs to do. Okay, boom. Here we are, beautiful art. I don't even know what this is, but another mirror. Hey. And then here is the room. We have one bed, two beds, but here is what did it for me. The view. Are you kidding me? Look at this view, okay? First of all, the skies are beautiful. The sky. Oh my God! And don't mind the mess. These are just my things, but if I really had to like do a lot of work here, which I'm not, I'm going to where the convention's being held. This is amazing. So then as soon as I got there, I changed. I went to the Caesar's Palace because that's where the convention was being held this year. And that place is humongous. Like, just to get to where you had to go to get your badge was like a walk, okay? A walk. I said, girl, they should have included this in the itinerary. Like, you will have to walk a lot. So all my girls that had like the heels on, baby, it was like, to me, torture. I didn't have heels on. I had some like comfortable low shoes, but it was still like, girl, I was not ready for all this walking. So that was that day. It was more of like just me working editorially. Like we had a kind of a rehearsal for the diversity panel, and figuring out like where we're going to be seated, where we were going to be seated, where things gonna go. Did like the directors have what they needed, the elements, the PowerPoint, the this, the that, like all of that. So that was my Wednesday. I didn't really get to do anything because, again, I was working on a panel. Yeah, this is a lot. Huge. Wow, I hope we get at least half of these. So Wednesday I went back to my hotel after I was done with the production things. Then Thursday was the day of the panel, so I'll insert some clips here of the panel.
There are so many people whose kids are trying to sound like me. Why am I twisting myself and not trying to sound like you? This is what America looks like. This is what we talk like. This is what we sound like. And when you don't see yourself reflected, you tune out. So I don't even consider someone else's stereotype of me because I know who I am, and for the church folk, I know whose I am, and that's what it's gonna be. And if it makes you uncomfortable, then I'm not for you. But I watch other people all the time who make cultural references that I don't get, who will refer to, there's something about Mary as a classic, or, anything, right? I'm like, well, that's not a classic. Coming to Mary is a classic.
When you hear things that are blatantly wrong in the newsroom and behind the scenes.
I think we definitely need to do that.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's important when those moments happen to address them head on in a professional way. I think what I try to do is, what I bring to you is of the highest level of professionalism, so you can't ever try to play that down. I'm going to be as prepared, as professional, as professionally dressed, as professionally spoken as anybody in the room. So, A, I'm going to come at you directly with whatever the issue is because I've earned the right to do that. And B, you're not going to challenge me or talk down to me because I'm either here as a peer or a superior. And just kind of living in that, knowing that, and comfortable with that.
Thank you.
And the panel was from 11 to 12. And then after the panel, I don't even know, what did I do after the panel? Oh, then I went to this NBCU Academy gathering type of thing. That was like the best thing for me because we were actually like seated in a table. I got to like meet new people, which was great, right? Like I didn't have to force myself into somebody's clique. It was kind of already like set out for me, right? When I went to sign in, first of all, you had to apply to come to this little panel thing. And then they sat you at a table with like an executive or a leader. So that was fun. I learned a lot there, and that took the rest of my Thursday. By the time I got out of there, I was tired and I went home, and by home I mean my hotel room. Friday came along, and the anchor that I work with was hosting a panel. So it was like a leadership panel. I'll insert some clips here. That was an amazing panel.
This is a question for you. I'm not sure how to phrase it. It's a bit delicate, I would think. But again, the spirit of Wendy Williams, like we now live in this. I've been coming to NABJ forever, since 1980, and whenever this conversation was, historically, it was 4 or 5 white men, maybe occasionally a white woman, having this conversation. But you're now sitting on the stage where you're the minority. What's that like for you, bro?
I'm having a ball. I think it's great. I think it's hard to feel anything other than excited by it and thrilled at the change that's overtaken our industry in the last few years and the country. Kim talked about inclusion. Rashida yesterday in another conversation mentioned how at NBC and I think a lot of organizations we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion as kind of together, as 3 principles that come together. And when you talk about inclusion, it does mean everyone. I think our organization has tried to live in that spirit. And what I've tried to relay to people, in those conversations where somebody raises concern is that you got to get over like the scarcity mindset. This isn't about if somebody gets something you don't get. It's about expanding the pie for everybody. And for a lot of reasons, including ones we've been talking about on stage, the expansion of platforms, the number of incredible storytelling opportunities that are out there, we can make this a much bigger, more diverse, more inclusive, more fair industry without anybody losing out. Everybody can win.
How have you had, if I may follow up, how have you had to adapt your game? For all of us people of color in this room, we had to learn early on how to sort of adapt our game, how to adapt our presentation, because we came from a culture that the news industry didn't traditionally embrace. So have you yet had to adapt your game now that the world is changing, that now that your staffs are becoming more diverse?
I've tried to adapt my game my whole professional life from a spirit of humility in terms of everything that I encounter. I think meeting people as human beings, I love that framing of it. the humility of knowing that even if you're in a position of management, you're no better than your team. I've always tried to learn from the people around me and encouraged my team to behave similarly. I mean, I think that the more an organization can be non-hierarchical, I think the more an organization can exist in a spirit of collegiality, camaraderie, open-mindedness, and a recognition that, you know, none of us are perfect. And, you know, we mentioned earlier in the conversation the lack of trust in our institution. I mean, I think certainly ignoring the noise is always good advice, but I also think taking that input with some humility and recognizing that our industry has done some things wrong over the years to squander that trust, and how can we correct it? So I think that again, that spirit of humility and adaptation should apply to all of us in every context, and certainly in terms of, you know, managing more diverse organizations, it's applicable there.
I'll leave you with a rose. These are my superpowers, and they can be yours too. The rose, R, is for resilience. Just hang in there, keep going. It's harder to stop a moving object. O, optimism, it matters. If you have just a good spirit, I am, I will, I can, keep moving, I'm going to do this. Optimism is strong. S is simple, a smile. It disarms people, it makes people feel good, it starts conversations off in a great way. And E, excellence, excellence every day. Demand it of yourself. Demand it of yourself first. Show up in an excellent way. That's my rose.
That's a hard one to follow.
And I was supposed to fly home that day. So after the panel was over, I went back to my hotel, and they had like a reception at 6 p.m. NBC did. So I went to the reception. I'll insert like photos of here. It was very nice. It was like at the barber shop in the hotel that I stayed in, the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. Super nice, bougie, you know, like they were walking around like what you want to drink, and they had little like, you know, like small little appetizer type things, which was cute because I come from low class, you know what I'm saying? So all of this was like, oh my god, girl, this is bougie. Loved it. The craziness happened when I checked out of my hotel to go home, right? My flight was scheduled at 9:48 p.m. Friday. So they picked me up at 8 p.m. to go to the airport, and then I arrive at the airport, and as soon as I'm about approaching the airport, it says that my flight was canceled, and I'm like, what? And the anchor that I work with had already like said, like, Shayla, be on the lookout because they canceled my flight. Mi amor, I get there, and then they're saying, oh well, it's canceled, but we're gonna reinstate it, right? So they move it back now to like, oh no, your flight leaves at 9:48. I get to my gate and they're like, oh, it's canceled. So girl, it was a whole shebang. I ended up leaving, my flight ended up leaving at like 11:59. Keep in mind the time difference. So 11:59 Las Vegas time is 11, 12, 1, 2. It's like 2 a.m. like East Coast time, whereas my time. So I get on my flight. I was able to call like my travel people for like the network that I work with, and they were able to help me book a flight on JetBlue instead of United. United, yeah, really messing up. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but get it together. So I get on this JetBlue flight, and I arrive here at 7 a.m. Saturday, right? So I get here at 7 a.m. Saturday. I work Saturdays and Sundays, so it was just a whole lot. But it was a great experience. I had fun. I feel like next year, if I do go, I definitely would want to go and not work. Like, I want to go and experience it, and, you know, like go with friends, right? So I can actually like have fun. And because we were in Las Vegas, and I just feel like I didn't get to do all of the things that I wanted because I was by myself. And you know what I'm saying? Like I wish I would have gone with my journalist friends that I had. But if you're able to go next year, I say go for it. It's definitely a great networking experience, and you just learn so many things. Like sometimes, you know, as journalists of colors, you feel like, oh well, the things that I go through are just, you know, like I'm the only one going through these things. But when you go to these conferences and you see people that look like you and, you know, have the same struggles and are striving for you know, better. It just makes you feel good to know like we are here, we're journalists of colors, and we are killing the game, whether you're into sports journalism, entertainment, anything, right? Like it's just amazing to see other people that look like you killing it, and just meeting new people. Where some jobs had like some companies, I mean, had job fairs, and you could just go in and interview for certain companies. All you had to do was like upload your resume. So this is a great way to, you know, put a face to a name, because sometimes you apply to jobs, and we have to be honest, in this industry, in communications and medias and television, when you apply to jobs, you know, you might be that one in a blue moon type of situation where you just randomly applied and you got a call back and you get the job. But the truth of the matter is, you get jobs in this business by knowing people, by someone recommending you, because that's just the truth of the matter. Especially the higher you go up, baby, it's difficult. So these conferences are a great way to, you know, make sure that these HR people know who you are, right? It's not just a name on a paper, it's your face. I remember this person from when I went to the conference. So I think it's an amazing way to get to know people. I got to see just a lot of people you see on TV and you're like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying, like reporters and journalists, and well, they're all journalists actually, what am I saying, but you get to see people that you admire in person, which is great. My camera cut off, but I'm gonna just show you guys. So this is the very ugly badge that you had to get once you arrived. It just has your name and like the company that you work with, or like if you're a student, I guess it would like emphasize that. And then they gave you this bag, and then this is what I got when I went to like the NBCU Academy thing that I was telling you guys on Thursday after the panel that I worked with. And it has this little stuff, you know, like a little book and just, you know, stuff like that, which was cute. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my little recap on the first time I attended a NABJ or NAHJ conference. Overall, it was a great time, but like I said, I wish next time if I go, I want to make sure that I go not for work. Instead, I go for like fun, and I go with people that I know. Like maybe also because I'm new to the company that I work with, everybody in my company like knew their people, you know what I'm saying? Like these are people that have been in the company for years, you know, like 5-10 years. And for me, like I really don't know a lot of people, because I got hired during the pandemic era, so a lot of times I, you know, like I email people and everything is online, so I don't know them physically. And like I said, these are people that have been working in the company for years, so they already knew each other. This wasn't their first conference, and I don't know, they were just like older, I don't know. Anyways, I still think it was fun. It was a great experience to just see so many journalists of color supporting each other. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little recap of the conference. I think you should definitely go if you have the chance, but make sure your company or your school pays for it, because it is very much expensive. So just try to figure that out in advance, if your company or your school offers some sort of discount, or if they could just pay for it altogether, because if they can, why not? I think next year NABJ is going to be in Alabama and NAHJ is going to be in Miami, so you guys better do your research now. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.